All right, so today you're here for Ignite at Night. The agenda for today's session, we're actually covering 2 Ignites. You get 2 for the price of 1. Yes, the amount of money you spent for this is amazing. And we're going to make sure you get double the value for the amount of money that you spent, which is a big fat donut. All right, so session 10, which is keep every lead, and session 11, follow up with leads, is what we're going to be doing. And I also want to make sure that everybody knows that I am in the process of getting my KWU certification for master faculty. And so I do ask that if I've earned a 5-star review by the time we get to that section of the conversation, that you will give me one of those. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. So I am Alex Sanger, again, with Keller Williams Capital Properties, based out of the Washington, D.C. metro area. My office is specifically in Rockville, Maryland. And we service both Maryland, Virginia, and D.C. I myself am licensed both in Maryland and D.C., and I have a partner that services Northern Virginia. I have been in the business for over 20 years and recognized as one of the top agents in the DC metro area. In fact, last week we were attending a top 5% DC metro event that they invited me to. My level of skill is reflective of 20 years in the business. So for those that are new, I have been where you are. Well, it was a long time ago, but I've perfected the systems that I need to be 100% referral based. You're not going to be at that point yet, but I'm hoping to teach you some skills that you can learn so that you can help yourself get to that point at some point in your career. I am also an author, best-selling author of 2 real estate books. The Real Agent Advice book is probably the one that's going to be most relevant to this audience. If you go to the website, www.realagentadvice.com, it will take you directly to my YouTube channel, where I have real estate agents from across the nation answer the question, if you had to go back when you first started, what are 3 things you wish somebody had told you when you first got started in real estate? Okay, so the answer to that question is what that book is comprised of. That book has about 100 of the best answers. The rest of the answers, about 250 of them, are on the YouTube channel. I invite you to join that and see that for free. If you'd like to have an actual book, you can go to Amazon and order that book. I think it's, $20 or something like that. But I'm not here to sell books. I don't make money off the books. It's just a resource for you guys. Okay, next, I am also a professional realtor since 2003, as I mentioned, over 20 years. Short sale and foreclosure resource in SFR and ePro, which is a specialist in marketing online. CPRES, which is for probate cases. I'm also a Buffini mentor for peak producers, as well as a trainer within our own market center. I do a lot of training there. And again, I'm also in the process of getting my KWU certification and master certification, master faculty. And I hope that by the end of today that you feel like you've gotten a 5-star experience. And if for some reason you do not feel like you got a 5-star experience, raise your hand and ask a question and let me know how I can help you so that you can get more information and more knowledge so that you can feel like, you know what, that was pretty awesome, Alex. I had a good time and I learned a lot. That's my goal, is to help you guys grow today and give you some tools that you can use to be successful. Okay. And if I do that, I hope you'll reward me with that 5-star review. Okay. First, we're going to start off with keep every lead, session 10, and Ignite.
Alex,
Yes, ma'am.
boss, excuse me, there are gray bars on the slide. I think that was coming from the music that you played earlier.
All right. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Hang on.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Oops.
Yeah, it should be a privacy bar or something, hiding some stuff on your computer.
Yeah, should be one. There you go. Okay. And there's one on the right here, because that's where I'm actually seeing people. So I'll bring that on and off as I go along. But don't worry about that. All right. Is that better? Melissa, is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, the top one went away.
Very good. All right. Very good. All right. Well, let's keep going. All right. So right now, this is kind of the process that you're going through during the Ignite, learning how to be an expert, doing lead generation, doing lead follow-up. All of that leads to an actual transaction. So there's a lot that happens on the front end to finally get to that final finish line of a paycheck that makes it to your bank account. Okay. And we're going to talk about the middle part of the process, which is really the lead follow-up. So last session, again, this is another way to look at it. You've already learned what it means to become a real estate agent. You've already got your license. You've gone through that whole process. You took your tests. You talked about, what the money is involved and everything else. You've also talked about generating your leads and building your database. Whether that lead is from an open house or that lead is from social media or some other lead source that you're using. One of the things that I like to say is if you're, or I should say, one of the things that I tell people is that, hang on, let me stop this. One of the best way, by the way, put your camera on if you haven't put your camera on for Pete's sake. Where's Pete? Is there a Pete in here? Because I could make him come after you guys. All right. One of the best ways that I found to generate a lead, if you don't have sort of an event like an open house or something like that, is just to talk to the people that are around you. So if you have kids, it's gold, right? All you got to do, kids, grandkids, anything like that, you go to a sporting event, a soccer game. I coach volleyball. My kids played volleyball, so go to a volleyball game, go to swim Mets team, anything, or activities that you do where you're going out and just having some fun with friends, or maybe you're part of a group. And if you're not part of a group and you need to find places to meet people, go to Meetup, find something that you're interested in, join a group, get involved with your community. And then when you talk to the people that you're going to interact with, it's a very simple question that you ask them. Okay. And that question is, so what do you do for a living? And Bernice, if I asked you, what do you do for a living? You're going to be like, oh, I'm a, program manager at a big tech firm or whatever it is. Right. And you're going to let them talk as much as they want. You're going to ask follow-up questions. You're going to dig deep. And then when they're done talking, you're going to give them what I affectionately like to call a pregnant pause. Like it's a really long, uncomfortable pause. You're not going to say anything. And you know what they're going to say? That's right, Penny. They're going to say, well, what do you do? And your answer is going to be, well, I sell houses for a living. And then you know what they're going to ask you? Anybody?
Yep.
What is it, Brian? He wants to tell me.
Sorry. How's the market?
Brian, I'm so glad you asked. Well, it depends. Are you thinking about buying, selling, renting, or investing? Okay.
Oh, probably selling.
So the point is, I'm going to turn it around, right? Well, it depends. By the way, that's almost always the answer in any real estate question. You're in the middle of a transaction. I don't know. It depends. Are they getting an inspection? Are they not getting an inspection? Right? So it depends. Are you thinking about buying, selling, renting, or investing? What that does is it allows them to narrow the focus of the question that they're asking you. Okay? Because you could start talking about interest rates. Interest rates just dropped 0.5%. You could start ranting and raving about that. And they're like, yeah, but I actually have a beach house that I'm trying to rent right now. Interest rate doesn't matter to me right now. I already own the house. Right? So you want to get a context of the question. You want to make sure that you understand where they're coming from so that you can actually give them an answer that is important to them. Well, I was asking because we were thinking about buying a second home at the beach. And I wanted to kind of get a sense of what the market's like. Oh, okay, great. Well, interest rates just dropped by 0.5%. So it's a great time to buy, right? Or, yeah, well, no, I'm asking because my wife and I are actually thinking about getting a divorce. Oh, oops, right? So now all of a sudden we're going to go down a different road, a different conversation. So I want to make sure I ask that question, okay? Once I'm done with that, I'm going to roll it back around and I'm going to say, hey, talk about real estate, blah, blah, blah. Hey, by the way, I don't know if you are interested, but I have this great thing called a neighborhood market snapshot or neighborhood snapshot. And what it does is it allows me to share with you information about roughly what your house is worth. And it's a system that my company provides for me that allows me to share it with you. I can send it to you by email. You can look at it anytime you want. You don't actually have to call me anytime you want to look at it. You can look at it in privacy of your own home, wherever and whenever you want to. Is that something that you'd be interested in getting? And you know what they're going to say? Sure. Right, Chris? Right. They're going to say, sure, I wouldn't mind getting that. And then the next thing I'm going to do, remember, this is somebody I don't know. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my phone. Okay. And I'm going to open up a new contact. And then I'm going to hand them my phone. Okay. I'm not going to try to type what they tell me. I'm just handing them my phone. Please just type it in. And then when they start typing, you say, make sure that I have your cell phone number so I can text you. Make sure you give me your email address where you want me to send that. And then also make sure you put in the address of the property you want me to get you the information about, which probably is going to be what? That's right, their home address, right? It's going to be their home address. By the way, it's super creepy. Chris, where'd you go? You went somewhere. It's super creepy for you to go, where do you live, right? What's your address? Like, that's super creepy. Penny doesn't like it when people ask her that. So make sure that you this is a great way to get the information that's non-intrusive. You know it's going to be accurate because they're typing it themselves, right? And so all you're doing is hand them the phone. Now, if you're doing it over the phone, you want to make sure you say, so Lee, can you spell your first name for me? Okay, great. And can you spell your last name for me? And then we're going to find out that Lee first name and Lee last name are spelled differently, and you don't know which one it is. And so that's why you actually have to ask regardless, right? How do you spell John? Is it Jon or John? How do you spell Lee? Is it Leigh or is it Lee? Right? So you want to make sure you always ask the person how to spell it. Okay. Can you spell your first name for me? Can you spell your last name for me? By the way, once they've spelled their first and last name, next, when you ask them for their email, guess what? You already have the spelling of how they spell their first and their last name. And most people use some derivative of their name for their email address. So now you're actually going to be more likely to get it correct if you have to take it over the phone. Okay. So making sure that, making sure that you have that information is super important. I am doing something wrong. Hang on a second, guys. What do you guys see right now?
Looks like you're in a spaceship.
Perfect. You see me.
Yeah.
So you don't see the slide right now.
The group, yeah, not the slide.
Oop.
Looks like Star Wars.
It is Star Wars.
It
Thank you.
is.
You're my people.
And that's
Okay. There
It's
we
not
go.
presenting right now.
Right. Boop, boop. I don't know what's going on. We do full screen. Here we go. I got it now. All right. Boom. All right. Now you guys got the slide, right?
Yes, it's just that there are gray bars again at the
I know.
top.
I have to, every time I have to go and hide this thing. It's just the way that works. Okay, so you've gone through the process now of capturing leads. By the way, one of the other things that you can do when you capture leads, last session we talked about open houses. What I do with open houses specifically is that, see, now I'm gonna unshare that again. One of the things that I also do with open houses is I specifically, or I should say Alyssa, because she helps me out. By the way, this is Alyssa. She works with me on the Sanger group. And she is amazing. She's actually in the Philippines today, and most of the days. Anyway, so one of the things we do when we do open houses is we don't use the paper sign-in sheet. Okay, a lot of people use that paper sign-in sheet, and if you use a paper sign-in sheet before, you'll see that people won't put their real name, or they won't put the email address, or if they do put an email address, like you can't read it, and they put a cell phone number, but it's like wrong, or they'll put, write it in such a way that you can't really tell what it is. So we avoid all of that. And what we've done is we've created a questionnaire that they have to answer to register. So they'll have to put their first, their last name, their email address, their phone number. And then we'll ask them questions like, are you working with an agent? What's the agent's name? How did you find out about the property? Oh, I saw the sign. I saw it online. My agent sent it to me. Whatever information you want to get. We'll then take that Google form that we've created, and we'll take that little URL that's at the top. We'll make sure we share that form so that anybody who has the link can actually see it. We'll take that form, and then we'll put a QR code, and we'll create something like this, okay? And I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but it has a QR code right there. And so anytime somebody comes to the open house, we'll say, hey, thank you. Hey, nice to see you. Can you go ahead and scan that QR code and register for me? And once you're registered, I'll go ahead and let you in. Okay. And then I'll close the door and literally leave them outside. I have an iPad, and on the iPad, it has the answers, and you can look on the answers to see, okay, you know what? Randy went ahead and registered. Hey, Randy, you can come on in. And then I let Randy in. And then the rest of the people are waiting outside until I get that answer on my iPad. I am not letting them in the house. Okay. One of the reasons I do that, actually several reasons I do that, but number one, it's control of the open house. Number two, it allows me to get everyone to register, because the owner has the right to know who's coming in their house. Okay. And when somebody gives me boo hockey for like, hey, I'm not going to fill that out, that's okay. You don't need to come in. Because the owner would like to know everybody that's coming through their house, because everybody that's coming right now today, they're all strangers, and they want to have a record of everybody that's come through their house. You would want that too, right? If you had strangers coming through your house. Yes. Okay. I get your point. Right. And if they say, I don't have my cell phone, they're lying, because they do. It's just in the car. Go get it. And, sometimes you turn people away. It's okay. You know what? That's fine. Just come back with your agent, tomorrow or later, and that's no problem. Ralph, you're next. And then just have the next person come in. Now, the reason I do this, again, is crowd control. During COVID, it was really important because you didn't want so many people at the same time. But what we've discovered through the process is, guess what? If you have someone using their own phone to scan a QR code to fill out a registration, how accurate is that information compared to that piece of paper? It's probably pretty accurate, right? Because most of the time, it's like an autofill. It just already knows that my name is Alex, last name Sanger, email is alex@alexsanger.com, phone number is 301-200-1232. Like, it's automatically going to just like populate all that information in. So I'm not going to get misspellings. I'm not going to get stuff I can't read. And that information is so critical, because we don't actually have a lead unless we actually have that information. Now, can they lie? Of course they can lie. If they're going to lie, they're not really a lead. They're not somebody you want to work with anyway. But it's important to understand that, those people that spend the time to actually give us the information, those are people that we want to talk to, okay? Because they're not jerks. We don't want to work with jerks, do we? Right, Kelly? No, Kelly does not want to work with jerks, and neither does James. He just wants to drink water and not work with jerks. Okay, so going back here. All right. All right. So once we got that information, now we can actually get through the process of actually following up with those leads and keeping the leads and following up with them. All right. So what is a lead? A lead is basically a person that you've met where you have at least a minimum amount of information. Okay. From my perspective, a lead is literally a person, because where do people live? They live in houses. So literally, and where do their friends live? They also live in houses. And so really just about anybody that you meet is a potential source of business. And it's really just a matter of getting to know that person and getting them to know you and trust you. Okay? Because there are two things that you need in order for someone to do a piece of business with you. The first thing that you need is that you need them to know that you are a professional in the field that you do business in. Okay. So first they have to know you as a professional in the real estate market. The second thing that they need to know is that they can trust you. Okay. And if you have both of those pieces of relationship, then they'll actually do a piece of business with you. So a lot of people on this call are just getting started in the business, right? And so you have a lot of people in your phone. Like if you pulled out your phone and went to the bottom of it, you'd see there's a ton of people in there, right? Like in my case, I've got like almost 3,000 contacts in my phone. Now, a lot of those happen to be realtors. But the point is that those are people that I know, and those are people that trust me. So you have people in your life that you already have the one piece which is the trust. The part that you don't have is that they don't necessarily see you as a real estate professional. And so they're not necessarily going to work with you or refer you to people. You need to get both. How do you build both? Well, we're going to talk about how to become that real estate expert that they know, and how to become somebody that they trust. Part of how they trust you is by being honest with them, by sharing information with them, by making sure that they know that you actually are not just an expert in what you do, but you care about them, right? They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You've heard that before, right? So you need to make sure you're connecting with them on a personal level. You're listening, you're mirroring and matching, right? So if they say something to you, so if Leanne Lee says this is how she spells her name, I'm going to repeat it back to her. And I know, Leanne, I'm just picking on you because of your name, because it's awesome. Okay. But she doesn't care. She's like, that's all right. It's all right. I like being the center of attention. That's why I wear pink. Okay. So the point is that like you need to connect with people, right? So that they actually say, you know what, this is somebody I can trust. And once you get that, then you start building on the real estate side of things. Part of the way you build on the real estate side of things is with regular communication with that individual. All right. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay. So when you look at this graph or picture, it basically shows you, when people move. And people move kind of on the pinnacle of that diagram. So lead follow-up is really, really important from that moment where they purchase a property till the moment where they purchase the next property or sell or buy the next property, right? So everyone you know in your database lives on somewhere along these waves. And at the top of the wave is when they purchase a home. And the day after they buy a home, they move down the wave and continue until they begin to think about the next home. And over someone's lifetime, they will potentially buy 1, 2, 3, or more homes. Maybe they're an investor and they buy a ton of homes, but they'll buy a home throughout the time frame that they're in their life. Now, the life cycle of the average buyer or seller person is that they live in their home between 7 and 10 years on average. There's some people that live less, there's some people that live a lot more, but on average, it's about 7 to 10 years. So if I gave you a lead that was right to the left of that peak, I want you to answer in the chat. If I gave you a lead close to the top of that wave, what would you perceive about that, the quality of that lead? So go ahead and put your answer in the chat. And Alyssa, go ahead and start reading off some of these answers for me. So what would you think if that lead came in right at the peak of that lead, of that thing? Go ahead, Alyssa.
Yes, most of the answers that we got said that the lead was high quality, strong, top
Yeah.
grade.
Exactly. Most likely you would perceive that as a high quality lead, that they're close to being ready to purchase again. Now, what if I gave you a lead right after that? What then? Go ahead, give me your answer to that. What if that lead came in right after that peak? What do we got? Anybody? What do we got?
Yes, most of the answers in the chat box says that it's a dead lead poor lead, not looking to really buy, probably be a long time until they move again, or a low quality lead.
Right. So you're perceiving it as a quote unquote bad lead. However, there is no bad lead. Every lead is somewhere on the spectrum of the curve, right? And in real estate, we don't think of someone as just one thing or the other. We think of them as a relationship. Okay. Because the reality is that I don't care if they're up here at the peak, if they're down here at the bottom, or if they're somewhere in between. You know what I care about? I care about the relationship with the individual. Okay. So what I know is that when I talk to Elizabeth and I'm having a conversation with Elizabeth, I'm going to, through the conversation, I'm eventually going to get to the point where I talk about real estate. And one of the things I'm going to ask her is, oh, by the way, Elizabeth, if you were, who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling real estate that I could have a conversation with, or that I should talk to, right? I'm not going to say, are you thinking about moving? I'm going to ask Elizabeth, who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling a home that I should talk to in the next 3 to 6 months? Okay. I'm not going to say, Max, do you know someone that's thinking about moving? What's your answer going to be, Max? Just show us with your head. Nope. Right? The answer is no. So, do you know someone thinking about moving? The answer is no. Change the words around just a little bit. Who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling a home in the next 3 to 6 months that I should talk to? Now the answer isn't a yes or no. It's a, let me think for a second. Who do I? Now they're thinking of a name. They're not answering a yes or no question, which is inevitably going to be no. Okay. Plus, I don't want to ask you, Max, if you're moving. I want you thinking about your friends. So even though we look at this curve and we say, you know what? They just moved, right? They just moved. There's no value in talking to them. The reality is there is, because they know a whole lot more people than just themselves. And nurturing that relationship is more valuable than if they're going to happen to move right now. Because the reality is that when you meet somebody for the first time, you have no idea where they are on this curve. And so you need to treat everybody the same and just know that you need to build that relationship and nurture that relationship. Okay? So everybody that we meet is a possible piece of business, right? So whether it's them or it's somebody that they know. But we need to turn that person from a possible piece of business to a probable piece of business. And there's dialogue and there's a conversation we can have with them that can convert them from one to the other. And then once we turn them into a probable piece of business, that regular interaction, that regular conversation, that regular touch that we have with them will eventually lead them to say, you know what? I myself or somebody I know is thinking about buying or selling, renting or investing. Can you help them? Yes. And now we're going to actually turn that person we met into a profitable business. Okay. By the way, I mentioned to you that you need 2 things to be considered for the job of being a real estate agent. They need to trust you and they need to know that you're a professional, but they only have room in their head for 2 people. If you aren't first or second in their mind, you probably won't get the business. So it's super important that you're communicating with that person on a consistent and regular basis. Okay. So how do we do lead follow-up? How do we actually stay in touch with this person? Well, we're going to focus on this model. Okay. This is the model that Keller Williams has. You go from leads to cementing that person into a contact. So let's focus on the lead piece of it. Okay. The lead piece of it focuses on a 19 Connect. A 19 Connect has 4 touches on a quarterly basis with a phone call. All right. So one way to look at this 4 touches on a quarterly basis with a phone call, what I did, Melissa and I did, is we took our database and we printed it out or put it into a spreadsheet and we counted by hand the number of people that start with the letter A, the number of people that start with the letter B, the number of people that start with the letter C, all the way down to Z. And we put a number next to it. And then we tried to balance it out so we had about the same number of people in each group. And if we take the letters of the alphabet, which is 26, put 2 of those letters together or shrink it down by half, we get 13. And guess what? How many weeks are in a quarter? 13 weeks in a quarter. So now we're able to take 2 letters of the alphabet every week and make phone calls to those people. And then you're going to put that into your phone so that you know this week I'm talking to everybody that starts with A and Z. Next week, I'm talking to everybody that starts with B and K. Next week, I'm talking, right? So you've gone through there, you've done the math, you know what letters you're doing each week, and you're putting it in your phone so you know, okay, I just need to pull out my phone and call everybody with the letter A this week. Pretty easy, right? Now you have a system for actually getting in touch with everybody in your database on a quarterly basis in a manageable way. So that's the first thing. You want to have 4 touches with phone calls. The second thing, you're going to have 12 touches with a monthly email, newsletter, or market report, or a video. Okay. Some people are great with video. They love to do videos. They put them up on TikTok. They put them up on YouTube. Hey, it's Alex Sanger. I just wanted to talk about the market today, right? Or whatever it is. Or this month in the market, this is what's happening. And they can put out a video and they can pull out statistics from their MLS and just basically read the statistics. Boom, you've created a video and you're sending it out to your people. You're doing something, and something is better than nothing, because ultimately you have to get those people to think of you as an expert. And the way they think of you as an expert is by giving them value, giving them information. Okay, does that make sense? Good. So we at the Sanger Group, we wound up putting out monthly emails. Alyssa's great at putting together different videos for me with different content that we use on social media. So we include that in our newsletter. Market data, this is what's happening in our market. That all goes into a newsletter. But guess what? Remember I mentioned earlier, we have that neighborhood snapshot. That's something that you can use. You can send it out once a month as an email directly right from command. And if you don't know how to do that, I definitely encourage you to talk to your technology person in your office about how to utilize that neighborhood snapshot. It's already built into the system. All you have to do is load their name, load their email, load their address, and then you can go into the smart plan and add them to a neighborhood snapshot. Boom, you've now taken care of your 12 monthly touches. Okay, so I told you how to get your quarterly phone calls. I told you how to get your 12 touches. Next, you're going to have 2 touches that are promotional or direct mail, such as a magnet, a calendar, a printed market report. If you don't have a lot of money, don't spend the money on getting the magnet, or don't spend the money on getting the promotional item. Just print out a market report. Basically do a CMA for that client, and go into the MLS. Here's the homes that have sold in the neighborhood in the last 6 months. And here's your home. This is where your home compares. And just put it in an envelope, handwrite the envelope and send it to them in the mail, or even just drop it at their house. Okay. And that's something that you can do. That's 2 touches in a year, right? So you just have to do it twice a year. Again, if you're doing it once a quarter for the phone calls, just make it part of that phone call. If you have a little bit of money, you can also do something different. I know that we do pop buys. And so I might, go to Costco and get something on sale or whatever. I remember one year they had those lighters that were on sale, the long lighters that, the lighters that you click and they go boop, and they turn on. And so I just put a little tag on it that said, if you're thinking about something in real estate, I won't leave you in the dark. Some corny thing like that. Another one is, this is really more planning for next year, but right after Halloween's over, go to the party store, go to the grocery store, go to whatever, and buy up all of the pumpkin carving kits, because they're going to be 50% off. so that next year when Halloween comes around, you can go get a small pumpkin and you can give a carving kit, tie a little thing together and bring it to your clients, put a sticker on the back that has your information, and you just be like, hey, I was thinking about you and your kids, and I just wanted you guys to enjoy your Halloween. And oh, by the way, if you know anybody that's thinking about moving, I'd love your referral, because you want to give before you ask. Okay, so that's a nice little promotional item that you can kind of create on your own if you're a creative type of person. All right, I know John loves this idea. Like, I'm doing it, Alex. Just saying, right, John? He's smirking at me now. Okay. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Take it back over here. Okay, now I'm very confused. Okay, share screen. There we go. Share. Okay. I like to bounce back and forth because it makes it too boring if I'm just talking about a screen. All right. And then One Touch finally is our annual event or party, movie screening, get together. This is an event that you invite everybody to. And there's events that you invite people to that are more like in your database. Maybe they're more expensive, but this is one that you invite everybody to. And so one of the ones that we do every year is our annual Great Pie giveaway. It happens in November. Alyssa will prepare the list and she'll send out emails to everybody. She'll create an Eventbrite where people can register. And what they do is they can select either a pumpkin or an apple pie. And we will wind up making that available to them. And, you know, we have over 1,000 people in our database. And over 1,000 people, guess how many people actually take you up on getting a pie? What's your guess? Go ahead, put it in the chat. How many people, if I invite 1,000 people to participate in getting a free pie, guess how many people actually say they want to get a pie? What do we got, Alyssa? What numbers are coming in?
Most of them are like 100 or more than 100.
Yeah, so we get about 30, 35 people.
Yeah.
Right? So we send it out to 1,000 people and we get about 30, 35 people that actually buy a pie or that come and get a pie. So don't be afraid of this sort of thing, right? And by the way, if you did get 100, great, right? A pie costs what? $10, right? So yeah, okay, I have 100 people. I spent $1,000 buying pies for people, but that's 100 people that now are indebted to you. Right? They're now they now are taking from you, and they're now going to feel like, well, I took his pie, I should probably send him a referral, right? And so keep in mind that anything that you're doing from an event perspective, by the way, it's not about the event. It's not about the event. It's not about how many people get a pie. It's about how many people were invited, right? So Tarina, is that how you say it? Tarina?
Taryn, the A at the end is silent.
Ah, Taryn. So Taryn, let me ask you a question. If somebody was having a party and they didn't invite you, even though you couldn't go, would you be pissed off?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Now here's my question, Taryn. If I invited you to the party but you couldn't go, would you be pissed off?
No.
You'd be delighted. You'd be like, oh, he thought of me.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm inviting 1,000 people to the party and only 30 are saying yes. But guess what? All 1,000 of them felt like, oh, he invited me to the party. So invite them to the party. Most of them are going to say no. But what matters more is that you have the opportunity to communicate with them. Right? So how am I going to communicate with them? Well, guess what? Alyssa's going to prepare a text message in Command. She actually puts together a whole plan in Command. Okay? That's with text messages, with emails, with notifications for me to call them. So now we're actually sending out a text message. Hey, by the way, our Great Pie giveaway is coming up. Keep an eye out for the link. Email, same thing, right? Because some people like email, some people like text. Like Taryn likes text and John likes email. Okay? So we don't know who likes what, right? So we want to make sure we communicate with them both. Then after we send out the actual link, I'm going to make a phone call. And I'm going to be like, hey, Penny, I just want to let you know I sent you a link for our Great Pie giveaway. It's a great event. It's something that I'm doing just to kind of thank everybody for their support of our business and for all their referrals. And so I'd just like to invite you to come and get an apple or a pumpkin pie. Just use the link, register for whatever you'd like. Oh, I can't come. I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be there that day. Oh, well, that's that. You know what, Penny? I understand. Well, maybe we'll catch you next time. And oh, by the way, before I go, who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling in the next 3 to 6 months that I should probably talk to? Okay, so I invited her something, and then right at the end, I slide it in. Oh, by the way, who do you know that might be thinking about moving that I can help? Okay, so I now touched them 3-4 times before I made the phone call. I made the phone call, and if they actually come to the event, well, I can tell you just about every time we do this event, somebody comes up to me. Oh, by the way, I need to talk to you about something. We're thinking about moving, or my mother just passed away and we need to sell her home, or my brother's moving into town. He needs a place to stay. I think you can help him. Right? So if they come to the event, they're more likely to say something like that to you as well. Or sometimes they're like, I can't come, but I was thinking about you. And it just so happened that you called me, and, Sam's going to be moving back in, whatever. Right. So now they come to the event. Now I can write them a handwritten note, and I can thank them for participating in the event. I might even take pictures of the event and post it up on social media and tag them. Hey, thanks for stopping by. It was great seeing you. Right. So I'm creating something and by the way, now I can take pictures, and the next newsletter, I can send it out, and I can say, hey, thanks to everybody who came and joined and celebrated with us at our Great Pie giveaway. It was great seeing everybody. And by the way, thank you everybody for your referrals. Your referrals are the things that make events like this happen. Did you have a question? No, you're just stretching your fingers. Okay, no problem.
Someone actually has a question.
What do you got?
Max Amini.
What do you got, Max?
All right, so I have right now, as like all of that, so we talk about how we find the lead, or how we can communicate with the person, or who will be interesting, or he's not interesting, we're gonna find. But right now on the real, right now live, I already have the one of the seller. He's my old friend, but he's not my age. Is like I think his age is around of 60 something, 60, 65 years.
Sure.
I been a friend as like the business friends. So a few days ago, I called and I say I introduced myself, and he said, "Oh my God, so if you're agent, so I have a one house. Are you gonna list it for me?" And I say, "Absolutely, why not?" So making anytime like you have time, like make a meeting, we're gonna meet and we're gonna talk. And he said, "Okay, so I will let you know." So my question is, how often we can follow up that things like I don't want to like every day I'm gonna call him, or every 2 days I'm gonna call him and he's gonna say, "Oh my God, like come on," like I say something and he's gonna be disappeared, like he's gonna run away. I don't want to do that.
So the answer to the question is you didn't go deep enough with your questions. So you had an interaction and you got all excited. Yay, I got something, right? And you were like, yes, score. But you need to slow it down, and you need to say, okay, I understand. What's the address of the property? Get the address of the property. Great. When are you thinking you want to move? Or when do you think you might want to sell that property? Why are you selling the property? Right? Who else is involved? Do you own it by yourself, or do you own it with someone? Like, is your wife involved? Do you have a business partner involved? Who owns the property with you?
So he's
Great.
an investor.
Fine. That doesn't mean he doesn't own it by himself. He could own it with 3 other people. And the point is, you need to know that, because ultimately, and by the way, you're completely deviating from this course, but I'm going to answer the question. The answer to the question, you have to find out who is on the deed, because when you have your appointment with them, you need to have everyone that's on that deed at that appointment. You can't have it with just him. I had this case right here, this lead that came in. I had a fantastic call with him, talked about his strategy and everything else. He said, great, we need to get together with my wife and my son, because he's going to sell the house. He's going to invest half of the money in buying his son a place for his son and his daughter, so on and so forth. Right? So I had a great lead, fantastic conversation. I sent him a text message follow-up. By the way, if something changes, if you decide to hire one of the other agents you spoke to, something changes before we meet, please let me know. Guess what happened today? That's right, Penny. You're muted, but I know what you said. And that is, he hired his wife, and his son picked another agent. And so he said, I'm sorry, we're going to go with somebody else. Now, I haven't met with him. I haven't seen him. I haven't gone to his house, right? But the point is that you need to know everybody that's going to be there, because as much as the great conversation I had with him, 2 other people were involved in the decision and they made a different decision, and he, you know, he's whipped. So he went and did what his wife told him. Right?
So much.
Right? Max, you understand what I'm saying, right? Plus, I'm guessing, Max, no offense, but based on your accent, he's probably somebody that has a similar accent. Is that true or not? Yeah. And by the way, does that guy have a bit of machismo? Does he like to pound his chest a little bit and show off a little bit? Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, right? So I can profile whatever, doesn't matter. The reality is that I'm not discriminating. I'm just understanding where they're coming from. And I know that guy wants to put on a good show and be the big man. There's a lot more investigation you have to do there. You have to ask the questions. You have to get to the root of what's really happening and why. No mo, no go. Okay. No motivation, you're not going on the appointment. All right. That's a complete deviation from the conversation today, but I did want to answer it because you asked it. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand. And that is actually following up with leads and how to maintain them. All right. Okay. So when we get a lead, we're going to make sure that we have a 19 to connect plan. We need to have a plan that we can execute on every single time. As soon as we get that person from that open house, as soon as we leave that soccer game where I talked to the mom and she entered her phone information in my phone, I'm going to bring them back. I'm going to put them in command. I'm going to put them in my system so that I make sure that I know when I'm supposed to call them, that they're set up to receive that monthly email, that I'm going to touch them with some sort of a promotional item. By the way, one of the promotional items that I have lately is, which was not very expensive. Go back to this real quick. Is I got these little pouches here. They were like nothing on Amazon, and inside the pouch I stuck a little rag to clean your glasses, right? Who doesn't need that? By the way, if you don't wear glasses, I bet you wear sunglasses. Very cheap, inexpensive thing. And you know what I did? I put a little QR code on there where they could go and register for my networking group, which I'm going to invite all of you guys to join later in this thing. There's a QR code. Anyway, point is that this is a very inexpensive thing. And by the way, I could also stick this in an envelope if I wanted to mail it to somebody who's maybe not in my local market. And so I, just pull it out. Oh, I just have a little something for you. You wear glasses or sunglasses. Yeah, this is to help you clean them. And by the way, it's got all my contact information. So when you come across somebody that's thinking about moving, you'll remember me.
Yes, just scan the QR code and it is imprinted on the map of Maryland because that's the one we service.
That's right. So I make sure that they know like where we're working. So that's a little tidbit for you guys. I use 4imprint, the number 4imprint, imprint.com for that. And that's a little promotional item that I can give them. Doesn't cost a lot of money, $1 or $2. Get, couple hundred of them made, and I can hand them out as I like. Okay. All right.
Boss, we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
a few questions in the chat
right.
box.
Go right ahead.
From Ron Finkelberg. I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name wrong. He said, do you continue to follow the 19 touches if they have converted to a contact?
No. No, then you're putting them onto the 36 touch. Thank you for the set. I'm about ready to hit that one. That's later on in the conversation, but yes, that is correct. If they have converted into a contact, but there's a specific way they turn into a contact, John, that we haven't talked about yet. But the answer to your question is yes. We convert them to a contact. Ilham, did you have a question? No, she just unmuted. Was there any other questions, Alyssa? Are we good?
We're good. Actually, Ilham said, please check your microphone. I can't hear you.
Can you
There
hear me
might
now?
be something. We can hear you, actually. I mean, for me, I can hear you clearly. Ilham, there might be something wrong with your headset.
Or speakers, not sure. All right. I'm going to keep going unless somebody else says, Alex, I can't hear you. Because then I'm going to assume that out of 50 people, it's just one person that's having problems on their computer. All right. So considerations for your lead follow-up program. So when you're going through the process of contacting people and following up and dealing with your leads, you're going to have to ask a couple of questions. What are my strengths when working with people? How can I adapt the touches of the 19 to connect, to represent me as an individual, right? Because the way I communicate with them might be different than the way you communicate with them. And what are some reasons I might have for contacting the lead? What are some touches to do before or after the phone call? So keep in mind that whenever I contact somebody, right, I like to have a reason to contact them. Guess what an event does? That's right, Penny. It gives you a reason to call them. I have some, by the way, another one that happens in the summertime, you can do like a backpack school supply drive. That's a fun one where you have your clients come and donate stuff and you're just a collection for them. You know, same thing. You can have like a blanket or a coat drive coming up here in the winter. That's a great thing to do if you live somewhere where it's a little bit colder. People can bring their, you know, you could do a toy collection, whether it's for Christmas time or just generally that you can donate to. Like, come up with anything, right? Just come up with some. You know what? We're doing a day at the dog park. We just want to invite all of our clients to come bring their dogs to the dog park, and you make little treat goodie bags that you give them when they come, right? It doesn't matter what it is, just create something and invite them to come. Have a reason to call them. There might be some issues with your speakers, right? Okay. Is anybody else having difficulty hearing me? Okay, so it's just you, Ilham. Ilham, try rebooting and rejoining. All right, so the easiest way to communicate with them is to have a reason for it, okay? After you communicate with them, what I want you to do is I want you to grab a note card, okay? And I want you to grab that note card and I want you to grab so on the bottom of the note card, just on the bottom section here is where you're going to write your message. On the top, you're going to leave it blank because what you're going to do is, this is the one time I actually use the business card. I take my business card and I have a sticker on that business card. And that sticker says, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referrals. And I'm just going to place that on the inside of that envelope, just like, or on that note card, just like that. Okay. So I have my note card, and on the inside, I have my business card with a, oh, by the way, I'm never too busy for your referral sticker. Now, I got fancy and had some printed up, but you could just get some like address labels, blank address labels, Avery, you know, ones that you get at Staples, and just print them out on your printer. I think a sheet is like 30, you know, stickers that you can use. It's not very expensive. It's an easy way for you to add that, that little message. Just say, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Okay. That's really important because it allows you to actually connect with them in a different way than most other people. And when I do that, I'll stick it in the envelope. And on the envelope, I'm going to hand write their address. And then I'm not going to just put a flag stamp on there, people. I'm going to get something fun like Buzz Lightyear or Barbie or you know, Matchbox cars or whatever. I'm going to do something fun. Not something boring like a flag sticker or stamp, rather. Okay. By the way, I'm not putting a return address on it. And the reason I'm doing all of that is because when you pull that stack of mail out of your mailbox, which is a stack of bills and ads and newspaper stuff, and then you see an envelope this size with a handwritten your name and a fun sticker on it, what's the first thing that you're going to open? It's that thing that I sent you. And it's going to be a fun message. It's going to be, you know, hey, it was great talking to you about, you know, whatever. Like, it doesn't even matter what you say. It just matters that you took the time to write them a note. When's the last time you received a handwritten note in the mail from anyone that wasn't your mother?
I don't think anybody does that anymore.
Nobody does it anymore.
It's all on Facebook or whatever.
It's
No more individual ideas.
My sister does it.
well, See, but you mentioned one person in your life, Teresa. And you know what? You open her letters, don't you? First thing you do, you pop
Of
it up.
course,
Why is your camera not on? All right.
because I'm a hot mess.
It says we're all hot mess. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Why do you think I have a virtual background? Because it's a hot mess behind me. All right. All right. Not everybody can be as cool as Penny or Tussar. Okay. So make sure you write that handwritten note. Okay. Very important. I know that it's part of your plan that they've talked about from Ignite from the beginning. I can't tell you how. So here's the deal. I went on a listing appointment. This is, you know, a couple of years back now, but I remember specifically this one. And I went on a listing appointment. She was interviewing 5 real estate agents. And she said to me, you guys are basically all the same. And I'm like, I was like so hurt by that. I was just like, and she said, but I'm going to pick you. And I said, oh, thank you so much. How come? Because out of the 5 agents, you're the only one that sent me a handwritten note. And I was like, drop the mic. Like it was awesome. It was just like this sweet moment that I knew that that one little thing that I did made a huge impact on that one individual. And by writing that one note, I got a $10,000 commission and none of the other 4 agents did. Okay. And it didn't take me any time. I already have all the materials. I keep them on Note Card Cafe. If you're looking just for note cards, just blank ones, Note Card Cafe, they're pretty cheap. It's one of the places I go to get them. You can also put stuff up there and have them send it out for you. But there's send out cards is another one, but that's one where you like type it in and then they send it for you. It's not as personal as writing it by hand. All right. Okay. Let's go back here. All right. What are your strengths when working with people? What are some reasons I might call? We just talked about that. How am I using conversations to let the person know I am in real estate? How to contact me and how to refer business to me. When is it the best time for me and my business to time block for leads and follow up? By the way, I'm not sure how many of you are full-time agents and how many of you are part-time agents. What I find is usually at these Ignite sessions, people usually have a regular job and then real estate is their fun job, right? So they're dual career. They're trying to transition from what they're doing that they quite frankly don't really care that much about, and they want to transition into becoming a full-time real estate agent. Right, Bernice? She said, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. And Chris said, yeah, me too. All right, so I forgot my track of thought. Hang on a second. When is it best for you to actually do your lead gen? Okay, so if you're a full-time agent, Keller Williams model is basically you wake up in the morning by 9 o'clock, you're hitting the phones and you're spending 3 hours doing your prospecting. Your lead follow-up, you're calling for 3 hours every single day because it's your job. Okay, and if you're not doing it, guess what? Max is going to do it and he's going to eat your lunch. All right. Now, if you're Chris working another job and you're doing that full time, maybe you say, oh, I've got a window of half an hour during my lunch. I can make calls. Or maybe it's 6 o'clock. I'm getting off my other job and I'm going to drive home. I'm stuck in traffic for an hour. Guess what? It's okay to make phone calls when you're in the car. All right. And by the way, I've already told you who to call. Well, it's the first week of the quarter. I'm calling my A's and my X's. So pull out your phone and just start hitting down all the A's. Start making calls. Next week, start calling B's, right? So you know who to call. You just aren't doing it. Just, foreshadow. Right? So get off your butt and stop procrastinating and do it. You have to make those phone calls. Alexa, let there be light. Thank you. Okay. So make sure that you've got a system for actually making these phone calls. You figure out when you can time block to make these calls. And don't let a day go by that you're supposed to do it, that you don't do it. You have to do it. Okay. It's probably one of the worst things about this business, from my perspective, is that you have to make these calls. Now, I've been in the business for over 20 years. So my strategy is going to be different than yours because I get all my business by referrals. I literally wait for my phone to ring. right? I had a call just before I started this today. Somebody called me. She found my information online. She called me and said, "Do you do rentals?" I said, "Yes, I do." She goes, "Most agents don't," which is not true, but that's how she perceives it because most agents don't talk about rentals on their website. She said, "Well, I went to your website and I saw that you do rentals. I have a house in Olney I need to rent for $3,500 a month." Guess what? Market's kind of down right now. I don't mind taking a $3,500 rental. That's okay. I'm okay with that. So just make sure that like you block your time according to your schedule. And it may not be a big chunk of time all at once. It might be a little here, a little here, and a little here. Just make sure you're actually setting aside the time to do it. That fits your schedule. Okay. Find those 5 or 10 minutes in the day where you can make a call, squeeze it in. You're on your way to the doctor. You got 15 minutes in the car, make 2 calls. Okay. Because the people that do that on a consistent basis, that they're always thinking, how can I leverage my time more effectively to get more done, are the ones that are going to be the most successful. This is a grind. This is not what you see on TV. All right.
Alex, we do have a question
Sure.
from one of our participants. So it's from Brian asks, what about texting? Part of 4 times a quarter.
Texting does not substitute calling or having a conversation. Texting is a good thing to do. And quite frankly, I do have conversations with people by text. But if I'm sending more than like 2 or 3 short texts, it's a conversation that needs to happen. And so you really need to get off the text and get on the phone. And, hey, do you have time for a quick call? And make that phone call. Or, hey, do you have time to get coffee? Let's catch up over coffee. But you're not having a deep, meaningful relationship text. Now, I'm not saying that text isn't part of the communication process. It is. In fact, I use text all the time. We have a text campaign, specifically that same letter thing that we do the same thing with texting. And one of the things we offer is a virtual coffee. Hey, would you like to have a virtual coffee? Here's a link for my calendar. Let me know when you're available, and we can have a virtual coffee. Okay. All right. How much time should I take to reach out to a lead? What will I do to hold myself accountable? And what do I need to do to make sure this happens? These are all things that you need to figure out. You might want to have an accountability partner so that you can ask each other, did you do your 10 phone calls today? No. Why not? Kind of just being lazy. Okay, well, now you need to do 12 every day to make up the difference, or 13, right? So you need somebody to help hold you accountable, and it's not yourself, usually. All right. All right, so how much does it cost to do these things? Guess what? Calls and text conversations, they don't cost any money because you're already paying for your cell phone. Like, it's not an additional cost to what you're already spending. Most everybody at this point has like an unlimited plan. So just use the thing that you have and, leverage it. Make the phone calls. Yes, send text messages. By the way, the text message could be as simple as, hey, I wanted to connect. When's a good time to call? That can be a text. You know what? I'm free on Saturday at 3. Okay, great. I'll call you then. Right? 12 touches. This is where you start to get into a little bit of money, right? So if you do an email newsletter, then this doesn't cost as much. Now, we use MailChimp, but we also use MailChimp for about 36,000 agents that we communicate with on a regular basis. So we're spending about $400 a month for MailChimp. And we're using that also for our own individual consumer database, which is over between 1,000 and 2,000 names. So we're spending a bunch of money on that, but you don't have to. You can also spend nothing and just send individual emails. It takes more time, but it is something that you can do. And then 2 promotional direct mail items. Like I said, I have the glass cleaner. We've also done like cell phone batteries or chargers, like backup batteries, converter or like USB plugs for cell phones. And on there, I just put, Alex, or, Sanger Group, Alex Sanger, your Maryland, DC referral agent, and then my contact information. And then, of course, the one event. Events, by the way, don't have to be super expensive. Our Great Pie event, I don't do it by myself. Alyssa's in the Philippines. She can't come and help me. So you know who I reach out to? All the people in my office. And I go, hey guys, we're going to do an event. Who wants to come and join me? And guess what? I get 5 people, 5 agents. I get 10 agents. I get 20 agents. Doesn't matter how many I get. If we're now all inviting people, I get 30 people. That person gets 5. That person gets 10. That person gets 20. All of a sudden, we got 100, 200 people showing up to this event. They don't know who's my person and who's their person. Now all of a sudden they go, wow, you guys are really busy. You must have done a lot of it. Yes, we have done a lot of business. And you know what? I wanted to thank you. I wanted to thank you for your referrals. And oh, you know, I didn't refer you anybody this year. I know, but you're going to, right? Yeah, oh, absolutely. You're my number one person when I think of real estate. Fantastic. I knew that was going to be your answer, right? So you make fun with it and you get them to actually participate. So get other people in your office participating in these events. They don't have to be exclusive to you. Now, when you send out your invitation, it's going to be you. You say it's you and Keller, in my case, Keller Williams Capital Properties. So Sanger Group and Keller Williams Capital Properties is presenting this event. Oh, yay, let me come. And then when they get there, they see other Keller Williams agents there. It's okay, because your invitation was from you. Your phone call was from you. Your email was from you. It's all branded to you. Doesn't matter that there's other agents there. All right. So make sure that you're getting people to come and you're inviting other agents to participate. Because guess what? You know how much easier I'll tell you, you know what I do for the Great Pie Giveaway? I go to Costco and pick up the pies. I fill my van. My van is filled to the brim. And then I also get a picture with all the pies in there. People don't know that those aren't all for my clients. Right? So boop, picture with all these pies. Oh my God, Alex, how many pies? It's 300 pies. Oh my God, you put them all in your van? Yeah. We're having a Great Pie Giveaway. Did you get one? No, I didn't order one this year. Oh, maybe you get one next year. Right? But guess what? While I'm getting the pies, the whole place is being decorated. Somebody else got refreshments, put them all out, made it all pretty, rearranged the office so that everything was set up, so that when I show up, back the van up, say, okay, guys, everybody come get the pies out of my van. That's all I had to do. I didn't have to do everything. Right? So be creative. Come up with something that you can do with other people and get it done.
Alex, we have another question. This
Okay.
one is from Lee and Lee. What do you do when people stop answering your calls because they know what you are calling for?
That doesn't happen. And you're jumping ahead to the other section that we're going to talk about in just a little bit. And I probably should speed things up a little bit. The answer to your question is, I want somebody to absolutely love me, or I want them to tell me to fuck off. Okay? Like, that's what I'm looking for. And I don't care which one it is, because here's the thing. It costs me $10 for you to be in my database every year. And if you tell me to go away, you just save me $10. And I'll replace you with somebody else that actually wants to be communicating with me. Because here's the thing. Do you think I want to do business with jerks? No, I don't, Leanne. I do not want to do business with jerks. I want to do business with fun people. I want people like Penny in my life. Okay? Because you know what? Penny, she's a cool person. And you know what? Penny is friends with Elizabeth. And I know because Penny's friends with Elizabeth, that Elizabeth is cool too. Because people that are cool tend to have cool friends. People that I click with tend to have friends that I click with. And those are the people that I want to surround myself with and enjoy my time and enjoy my life with. Because why am I going to do a bunch of business with jerks, Max? I don't want to do business with jerks. I don't care that they're selling a $3 million house. He's a jerk. I do not want to spend my time there. I'll go sell a $500,000 house gladly with somebody that's cool. Because it's about the relationship. And if I focus on the relationship, the money will come. And people that are new in this business, people like Chris, right? Chris is in business new. He's like, I just need to break in. Chris, the worst thing that you can do is have commission breath. Jamie, that goes for you too. Don't have commission breath. Okay? People can smell it a mile away. I just need to sell his house. I just need to sell his house. I just need to sell his house because I got bills to pay. They don't care if you have bills to pay. Carol's a nice person. And Carol's going to make friends with nice people. And when they're ready to sell, Carol's going to be like, I'm here for you. And I don't care if you sell today. I don't care if you sell next week or next year. I want you to know that when you need a plumber, you can call me. I want you to know that when you're struggling to figure out what you're going to do because you just lost your job, I'm not going to tell you to sell your house. I'm going to tell you, let's go find you a place to rent that's half the price, and we'll rent out your house so that when you're back on your feet, you can move back in. How does that sound? Because you love your house. Well, that sounds like a solution. Yeah, that's a solution. But you know what, Alex? We did the analysis. We're just going to move back to North Carolina. So can you sell our house? Sure. Because I took care of you. You trust me now. Right? I'm solving your problem in a genuine way. The business will come. But if you go into the situation with commission breath, yeah, let's sell your house. I don't care. Let's sell your house. Let's sell your house. No, don't do that. Do not do that. That is not how you build a lasting business. That is not how you take them from a lead to someone in your database. All right. Oops. I didn't do that right. What do you guys see right now? Do you still see the people or do you see the activity design here?
The people.
The people. Okay. So I need to go back here. Oop. I pushed the wrong button. It happens. Okay. So, all right. So now we're here. All right. So potential lead sources, people might call in, like I had that lady call in today, right? A community event. By the way, one of my favorite community events that you can do is you can sponsor the yard sale in the neighborhood. We've done it where we had the elementary school, we would rent out a parking space for $20 and or 2 parking spaces for $20. You just load up your car, bring all your crap to the elementary school, put it out, at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever, and sell to your heart's content. And the $20 we collected, we donated to the school so that they could use it for whatever playground, whatever they wanted to use it for. And you are now the source of all of the people connected with that thing. And you're the one that's putting out signs that say community yard sale sponsored by Alex Sang and the Sang Group of Keller Williams Capital Properties, right? Here's my phone number if you get lost. And I'm talking to all the people that are actually participating. I'm going on to Nextdoor and Facebook. I'm putting out the ads. Everybody sees that I'm doing all this stuff. Community event doesn't cost me much. A couple of signs I had to buy. But that's a community event I can be a sponsored at, right? Bring a food truck, right? Open houses. Again, we talked about that earlier. Social media marketing. If you're on social media, you're good at it, you can crush it on social media. Traditional marketing, door knocking. Go around, knock on doors. Hey, I'm your local agent. If you know anybody that's thinking about moving, I'd love to help them. Your agent website, call outs, so people that you're calling, past clients, purchase leads, client referrals, sign call in. So you have a sign in front of the house. People call on the sign, especially now with the new laws with the way real estate agent commissions work. I think you're going to get a lot more sign calls than people talking to an agent. Blog or newsletter. And then when you talk to them, Max, why are you thinking about buying or selling? Tell me more. What will that do for you and your family or your business? Why? Dig deep, find out what's really going on there. Right? Word of caution, warning, if you're buying leads, make sure you scrub those leads and you put them past the do not call registry. You don't want to be stuck in one of these things. That's mainly for leads that you're buying. But you do need to make sure that anybody that you're calling has given you permission. By the way, if you hand them your phone and they enter their phone number in there, they've given you permission. By the way, on that open house registration that we have, at the very end, before they hit submit, it says, by the way, by clicking submit, you give us permission to follow up with you on your phone. Okay, so we're getting explicit permission by them clicking yes. I don't want to give you that permission. Great, come back with your agent. Okay. All right, any ahas? Anybody want to share some ahas that they have? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Any ahas that you have? Come on, Ivanka. Put it in there. Deanne, what do you got? Anita, Wanda, you guys paying attention? Fatima, Teresa, Laura,
We have one from Chris.
what do you got, Chris?
um,
Go ahead, Alyssa, go ahead, read it out for us.
Google form for entry.
Yeah, it's a great way.
And then from John Finkelberg, so much to do with community events.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Alicia Sells also said, I really like the QR code for open houses, making them sign in to capture information.
Yeah, it's so powerful. It's like, I didn't realize how powerful it was until we started doing it during COVID. And then COVID left and we were like, we're not stopping.
Exactly. And it made it more professional.
Yes, yes, 100%. By the way, who else is coming to open houses other than buyers?
Lenders,
Not usually, but nosy neighbors. And
neighbors.
neighbors that are thinking about selling, and you don't know it, but you're interviewing for the job of selling their house because they want to see, how do you do it? And if they like how you do it, they're going to be like, I'm going to give Noreen a call. She was pretty good at that. And they're going to give her a chance. So keep that in mind, right? All right. Anything else that you want to bring up?
I just
The
wanna-
small gifts. Sorry, go ahead.
No. When you had mentioned, or whoever that was, about calling their database and feeling like they're bugging or calling too much, something that I've adapted recently was leveraging my Market Center client appreciation events.
Yes.
And I've been getting 5 to 6 touches out of that one event in a 4-week time span. So the first week I'm sending out a save the date text message, just to save the date this is happening. The next week, I'm actually sending out the invitation. The third week, I'm calling to see if they received the invitation. The week of, I'm calling to get a head count. And then once they show up, if they show up, I take note of who showed up and send a handwritten note to thank them for coming. And if they didn't show up, I send them, sorry, I missed you kind of note. And they actually appreciate it. Even if they don't answer or don't respond, when I have another event, they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the other one. I will do my best to make this one kind of deal. And they probably still won't show up, but it's the point that I'm like staying top of mind.
Taryn, just virtual high five, girl. Come on. Bam! That girl is nailing it. She's doing exactly what we're talking about with events. Those touches are so important. Oh my God, Taryn. Yes, I love it. You're crushing it, girl.
And one more thing too, I've been posting on social media the events.
Yes.
So people are reaching out to me, so now I'm able to capture their information because they want to come to the event, so I get their email and address. So that's another way to capture leads.
And by the way, she didn't have a house to sell. It's just having an event and saying, hey, come be part of my tribe. Come be one of my people. I want to have fun with you. Come on over. Because guess what? She's not interested if they're going to sell. She wants to know who they know that's thinking about selling. Right? That's awesome. I love it. I love it. All right, let me share my screen a bit. All right, I think. All right. Next, you need to do a high-level event that's going to cement the relationship, okay? And this is where you actually have coffee with them, you get together with them, you do have an event or something, and then you're going to actually convert them into a contact, okay? So post follow-up, you're going to actually now manage the relationship. So John, you were asking, what if they already turned into a contact? This is the system, you can see it in the book, that you're actually going to convert them and cement that relationship into an actual contact. All right. All right. By the way, just so you know, Command If you're not using Command, you should. You're already paying for it by your technology fee. I use it. I used to use a different system. I switched to Command. I figured if I'm at KW and I'm already paying for it, why not? I saved like $300-400 a month by doing that. It's fantastic. Also, if you need any help on anything, go to Connect, KW Connect. There's tons of videos out there on how to do stuff. I highly encourage you to do that. Now, Alyssa, go ahead and paste that for me. Everybody pull out your phone. Pull out your phone, scan that QR code right now. And we're done with the first session. So go ahead and scan that QR code, and Alyssa's going to give you the instructions in the chat on how to actually fill that out. What you're going to do is you're going to do the drop down, select the Ignite session 11, follow up with leads. That's the one I want you to select. And make sure you put where you are. You're in a virtual online session. And once you go to the next one, you're going to, in the instructor, you're going to go all the way to the bottom of the list and go to the instructor not in drop down. And then you're going to actually type my name, Alex Sanger. Okay. So make sure that you're doing that now. We're going to give you guys a couple of minutes to finish that. And we'll play some music. So I hope I've earned a 5-star review from you, because that's what I'm looking for. Help me get my KWU Master Faculty certification, giving me a great 5-star review. Once you've done it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Lets me know you're done with it. All right, hopefully you're all almost done. Finishing up. Don't forget to hit submit. All right, we're going to keep going now. You can keep finishing up with that if you haven't finished yet. Excuse me. Now we're going to talk about following up with leads and kind of get you the last part of this. And I'm going to burn through this pretty quick because we got about half an hour left for tonight. I'm going to cover some of the major points and some of the dialogue that we're going to use. All right. The effort you give to convert your lead must match the effort you give to generate them. Now think about it. Think about all that energy you put into doing that open house. You went out the night before, you put out signs, you showed up early to turn on all the lights, you put together the flyer and the QR code to make sure that they can all register. You had everybody register. You sat there for 2, 3, 4 hours at the open house answering questions for all these people that came through. When you were done, you shut down all the lights. You went back and collected all those signs. That's a lot of work. And then you're going to take that lead and just let it sit there because you have a job on Monday to go to, Chris? FFS, right? You know what FFS means, don't you, Ivanka? You know what FFS means? For fuck's sake, people, come on. All right. That's what it means. Don't do that. Right. Make sure that you get that lead. You're going to invest just as much time to follow up with that lead. Don't spend all that time getting that person's information, especially somebody walking into an open house. They've already told you they're looking. You make sure you exhaust that relationship to the point where they either say yes, please, or fuck off. Like, that's what I'm looking for. I don't care which one it is, but I'm going to exhaust that lead. All right. So, you got to capture the lead. Consistently getting every possible appointment from the leads you generate isn't complicated, but it does require preparation, practice, and purposeful action. Okay, that's from the book Shift, page 86. Now, if we look at that, skip over that. Capture is defined as collecting the minimum amount of valid contact information of a potential buyer or seller. We've already covered how to do that. All right. The conversation framework. If I were to need to contact you, what would be the number to reach you on? I don't like the way that's worded, but the idea is, if I need to get in touch with you, what number should I use? Right? If I found you exactly what you're looking for, how would I contact you? If I found out that information, whatever they were asking you, you were wanting, how would I get in touch with you? Right? You know what, Alex? You know, what are homes selling for in that neighborhood? You know what? That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to get you the answer. And if I got you the answer, how would I get in touch with you? Hand them your phone, you know, right? Get the information from them so that you can contact them. Now, this is I want you to write this down. This is not in your book. So get out a piece of paper or take a note on your notepad, whatever, or your phone. I want you to classify the people that you collect information from. Okay. Yeah. Or you can take a picture like Ivanka's doing. She's cheating. Okay. So A+. An A+ person is someone who has completed multiple transactions or has sent me multiple referrals or a combination of the two. Okay. If somebody sends me a referral or they do a piece of business with me, they're an A. If they do multiple, they're an A+. Okay. Now, a B is someone who I have actually had a conversation with, and I asked them if they knew somebody that was thinking about buying or selling, that I could be the person that they would refer people to. Okay. So I've asked them, I've qualified them, and I've said, would I be that person that you would refer people to? And they said, yes. Okay. A C is someone that you think would refer you if you asked them, but you haven't asked them, but you think, yeah, I think they'd probably refer me. Right. And then an O is like an online lead, right? That could be somebody that you get through TikTok or through email or some sort of online form that you're using. And then a D is to be deleted from your database. Now I say deleted from your database, but the reality is I don't really ever delete people unless they're like, delete me from your database. I usually just give them a declassification and then we'll send them emails, but we're not going to spend money on them. Okay. And your goal is to take all the C people in your database, people that you think would refer you, and either promote them to, yes, they said explicitly they would refer me, or they tell you to go pound sand, right? So if they tell you to go away, you demote them to a D. So I'm either promoting them to a B or I'm demoting them to a D. Okay. Once they're a B, I'm trying to convert them to an A, and an A convert to an A+. Okay. So here's the thing, Chris. You've got 5 minutes to make a phone call. You know you're dealing with people whose name starts with the letter T. Okay? And you classify your database and you have someone in every one of these classifications. Which one are you going to call first? Which classification are you going to call first? The answer is A+. Okay. Person's name is Tom, it starts with T, but Tom is an A+. Theodore is an A. Teresa is a B. Right?
What?
You're gonna call, well, I'm sorry, you are. No, it's not you, it's a different Teresa. Right? You're gonna call the A+ first because you only have 5 minutes and you need to prioritize your phone call. I've already told you who you're calling this week, but if I've only got 5 minutes, I'm gonna call my A+ every time. because they've sent me multiple referrals or multiple pieces of business. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is after I have that conversation with that person and they sent me a referral, I'm going to pull out my note card, right? And I'm going to stick an Amazon gift card in there for $25 when they send me that referral. Okay. And the reason I'm going to send that $25 gift card to them is to thank them for the referral. Now, I haven't closed the piece of business. They haven't bought the person that they referred to me. I haven't even talked to, right? They haven't bought or sold, but I'm sending them a $25 gift card for the referral. Why am I doing that, Max? He gave me a thumbs up. That's not the answer. The answer is I'm doing that because I'm rewarding the behavior, not the result. Okay. I want to reward the fact that they said, I have a referral for you, Alex. I am not rewarding the result of, oh, and I landed the listing. Because I don't care. Send me 8 of them. I'll close half of them. And I'll give you $200 in Amazon gift cards while I do it. And you know what? They're just going to keep sending them to me. Because who doesn't want a $25 Amazon gift card? By the way, I'm not doing a $5 Starbucks card. That used to be like kind of the norm. That's too cheap at this point, right? Inflation, everything else. Like, just get a bunch of Amazon gift cards. Just keep them. I keep them right over here, right next to me. Okay. All right. So how do I actually convert these people? All right. I'm going to ask them, who are they? What do they want? What do they need? Where are they? Where are they going? Why are they moving? When do they want to move? How are they going to move? Max, this is all those questions that you should be asking that guy. Why are you doing this? How, when, where, how, what, why, right? Like all of that stuff. We got to ask those detailed questions. You can't know or predict when they will come to a decision, but if you're reconnecting with them in a systematic way, you'll have a great chance of being there when they do. That's when you'll be able to close for an appointment, right? And I forget who it was earlier who was saying, I don't want to contact these people too many times, but the reality is you don't know when they're going to move. You don't, unless they told you. And then when they told you, take it in half. So you will need to constantly contact these people. Who can tell me what this is? Go ahead, unmute. Tell me what it is.
Car grill?
No, it's Ford. It's a prospecting mechanism. Okay. It's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Okay. Who wants to play along with Alex? Anybody have kids? Chris, you have kids? Okay, great. You got a pet? Doesn't matter. Chris, unmute. We're gonna role play real quick here, guys. You guys are gonna see the effectiveness of Ford. Chris, say something so I know your mic works.
Something.
Okay, very good. All right, you ready, Chris? Bring.
Hey,
Hey, Chris, it's Alex Sanger from Keller Williams Capital Properties. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
You know what? I can't complain. The Fed just dropped interest rates 0.5 point today, and I'm getting all these calls from people that want to refinance and do all that stuff. But I haven't talked to you in a while. How have you been, man? How's your family?
I've been doing pretty great. Family's doing good. Just hanging in there one day at a time.
One day at a time. And you have, I think you have one child. Is that right?
That is correct. Yep, she's 10 years old.
10 years old. What's she up to? What kind of activities is she doing these days?
She's doing soccer and karate. She just fell yesterday and hurt herself, so I had to go take Tylenol to the school.
Tylenol to the school. Okay, well, hopefully it was enough.
Yes, yes, she
I mean,
was.
if she's taking karate, should she really be falling like that? I'm just saying, right? She shouldn't be. What belt is she at?
She's white belt, trying to go to yellow belt.
Okay, so she's just getting started with it, right?
Yep, 6, 7 months.
Okay, well, you got to start somewhere, and it's good for girls to defend themselves, right?
Yes,
Absolutely. Now, did you guys do anything fun this summer?
we did. We went on a cruise and went to New Mexico, Red River, New Mexico.
Oh, what brought you to New Mexico? Do you have family there?
No, the girlfriend's family's there.
Okay, all right. Okay, I see where this is going. Okay. Do you guys spend a lot of time there, or is it just kind of like once a year?
No, this is our first time, actually. Yeah, her family goes every year, and she brought us along.
Okay, very nice, very nice. How's your job going? Not real estate. How's your job going?
It's going good. You know, same old, same old. Ready to
Same
get
old.
out of it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Is it, I mean, are they like downsizing or something, or?
They're always downsized. I make less money the longer I stay there.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I mean, are you looking for something else, or are you trying to just stick around?
I'm actively pursuing something else as we speak.
Okay. What field is it in? Maybe I can pass your resume on to some people.
Oil field.
Oil field. Ooh. Okay. Well, I don't know anybody in oil, but that's okay. I used to work actually in Mobil Oil back in the day, believe it or not. I
Gotcha.
did an internship back there, but anyway. So you guys have any big plans for like the next 5 years? Any big trips or big things going on?
Going on another cruise, going to Mexico, and going to Belize.
Belize. Ooh, that sounds exciting.
Yes, yeah. That would be the next 6 months, maybe. Yeah, 6 months.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, hey man, it was great catching up with you. I know that we need to see each other soon again. But before I go, I just have a quick question for you. If you or somebody you knew was thinking about buying or selling real estate, do you have a trusted realtor you'd refer them to?
I do. I do.
You do? Oh, great. Who is that?
It'd be you, actually. I'm glad you called. I actually was talking to someone just yesterday about, the interest rate dropping and dropped your name there. So hopefully they'll reach out to you.
Oh, well, you know what? That's great. Hey, you know what? If you have somebody like that, do me a favor. Next time you talk to them, ask their permission if it's okay if I get in touch with them, and then just shoot me a text message with their name and their number, and I'll make you look like a hero. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
That sounds fantastic. All right, hey man, it was great catching up with you. I'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely.
All right, bye.
Bye.
So you guys see what I did? Okay, so if we go back to, I pushed the wrong button again. I do that a lot. If I go back to this, right, you can think of that, but you're really doing that. I asked him about his family, I asked him about his job, I asked him what he did last summer, and I asked him what his big plans were. Okay, so I have a format, I have a way to have a conversation with that person. Okay, and did it feel forced? Did it feel like I was going after something? By the way, have Chris and I ever met before today?
Actually.
No. What? Is there something I
It
don't
was
know
all
about?
scripted. It was all scripted.
It was all scripted, right? Like I literally asked for a volunteer, right? He said, I'll do it, right? But you guys saw the effectiveness of Ford. So when you're having the conversation with people, I want you to think of that logo on the Ford truck. What does that stand for? It stands for family. Let me ask him about, how's your family doing? Oh, how's your job? Recreation. What'd you guys do this past summer? What'd you guys do this past fall? What'd you guys do this past winter? Did you do anything fun in the last year since the last time I talked to you? D, dreams. What do you guys have planned for the future? Ford. Okay. Make it part of your tool set that you have ready to go when you have that conversation. And then what did I ask him at the very end? Oh, by the way, before I get off the phone, let me ask you this. Now, I was qualifying him. I was mayor campaigning him. Okay. And so what I was doing is I was qualifying him because he was a C. And by him saying, yes, you're the guy that I'm going to refer to, I elevated him from a C to a B. And then he said, oh, by the way, I have somebody I can refer you to. Now I just removed him from a B to an A. All in one conversation. And it's the first time I've ever talked to him. By the way, on the last session that I did, I literally did the same thing. And the person was saying, oh, I went to Comic-Con in San Diego. And I said, well, have you ever thought about getting a place? She's like, actually, we were just talking about getting a place out there. Like literally, I was just like, I uncovered a piece of business right there. Referral for somebody. Right? And by the way, if you send a referral to another agent in another territory, they'll typically give you a 25% referral fee. Just so you know, in my market, The average sale price is about $500,000. That's a $10,000 paycheck. You send me a referral, I don't give you 25%, I give you 30%. So you send me a referral, $500,000, I'm giving you a check for $3,000 just for referring them to me. So when you come across somebody in Maryland or DC, who are you going to call? This guy. Call Alex Sanger. Embedded in your brain. Alex Sanger. That's the guy in DC and Maryland. Okay. So, no, I'm not actually joking. That's completely serious. All right. So let's keep going. Share this. Let's keep going. Because, by the way, that dialogue that I just gave him is right here. Oh, by the way, who do you know? If I already knew him, I would ask him this question instead of the other one. Write this down. This is not in your book. This is not in the presentation. Oh, by the way, who do you know thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months that I should talk to? Okay, write it down. Oh, by the way, who do you know that's thinking about moving in the next 3 to 6 months that I should talk to? Okay. Then after I asked that question, did you notice when he said, oh, I have a friend? And I said, oh, when you come across that person, do me a favor. Ask their permission if we can be in touch. Then send me a text with their name and their number, and I will follow up with them and make you look like a hero. Okay? By the way, did that sound scripted when I had the conversation with him? No. Why? Because I've said this so many times, it's just part of who I am now. And so that's something to think about with scripts. The more you say it, the more you practice it, the more you do it, the more natural it becomes, the more it just becomes a tool in your tool belt. By the way, Chris, when you do me a favor, ask their permission if we can be in touch. And then just send me a text message with their name and their number, and I'll follow up with them and make you look like a hero. How does that sound? Oh, that sounds great, Alex. That's all we're doing right here. All right. When you've asked for the appointment, which format do you think is the most effective? Text messaging, email, phone call, in person? The answer is, it depends on what they told you they prefer, right? Because John prefers an email. Chris prefers text. And Sally prefers a phone call. And Peggy just wants you to meet with her in person to have a coffee. She misses you. Okay? You have to ask them what they prefer. All right. In the end, if they can meet and have a good enough reason to meet, they will meet. And if they don't, they won't. And that's okay. You really don't care what their answer ultimately is, because you're not getting people to do anything they don't want to do. If I don't want to meet, I'm not going to meet. You're just getting to ask and respond until they agree that meeting with you makes sense, or it doesn't. Either way, you both win. Because here's the thing. If I'm asking you if you want help and you say, no, thank you, no problem. If I'm asking you if you want help and you need the help, you're going to go, oh my God, thank you so much. I didn't know who to talk to. I'm so glad you're talking to me. Right? Because when you want that person and you don't know who it is, you're so glad when they come along and they present themselves to you. And if you're, you know what, Alex, I'm good. Okay, no problem, man. Respect it. Respect it. Don't push it. They said no. No means no, ladies. Okay? Don't make a man do something he doesn't want to do. Okay. All right. All right. All right, give me some ahas. Give me some ahas. Go ahead and put them in the chat. Put them in the chat. Give me some ahas. Alyssa, we got anything coming in? Ford.
Ford.
Anything else? Anything else good other than Ford? Grade your
Grading
contacts.
your contacts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Grading your contacts is really important because it allows you to prioritize who you're going to call. Yes. And now we've given you tools that you can use to convert those people and to get them into a 36 touch, right? Yes, good. All right. Time block, use systemized conversion techniques, connect with your whole database and prioritize qualified leads is kind of the whole point of doing all this. You know, again, capture the appropriate information and get a hold of the lead, connect to assess their needs and establish a relationship, cultivate the relationship, you know, go out to coffee with them, meet with them, invite them to your events, and then close by asking for an appointment, right? Who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling? Oh, by the way, I'm going to self-identify because I'm thinking about moving. Oh, you are? Well, I didn't know. What happened? You know, my mother passed away. We're going to move into her house. We're going to sell ours. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear for your loss. You don't say fantastic at that moment. You say, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. And then you go, oh, that's really exciting that you guys are going to get to move there, right? Recapping Haas achievements. Okay, just so you guys know, this is where I work. So this is DC here, this little triangle here. And anything that's in this section of Maryland and DC and Virginia, I have a partner that does Virginia. So anywhere here, I've sold as far out as Allegheny. Right here, I just sold a property. I've sold stuff down at Ocean City. I've sold stuff on the other side of the Bay Bridge up in Annapolis. So I've sold St. Mary's. I've done down there. So I've sold everywhere just about in Maryland, but this is really where my main work load is done. So when you do come across that person that's in Maryland or DC, I'd like you to think of me first and send me that referral. And right now, pull out your phone real quick and go ahead and scan this. This is my networking group on Facebook, and we have over 12,000 members at this point. So you definitely want to make sure that you are getting connected with us on Facebook so that you can reach out to other agents if you have a referral for somebody in another territory outside of Maryland. Right? So if you live in Colorado and you need somebody in Florida, guess what? You can probably go on this group and say, hey guys, I got somebody in Florida that's thinking about buying, who's in, you know, Orlando, and you're going to get like 5 agents that reach out to you to say, I'm in Orlando. Okay. And then you can interview them and make sure they're a good fit for your client. Okay. So make sure that you join that. By the way, that's actually one of the things that's on my little eyeglass cleaner, because this is something, the eyeglass cleaner is something I give away when I go to things like family reunion or mega camp, anything that KW does, or when I teach a class that's outside of my territory. I'll bring these with me and hand them out as gifts to people that participate in my class, and it gives them the ability to join the network. Okay. All right. And in case you haven't done it yet, go ahead and scan that QR code and give me a 5-star review. Alyssa's going to paste the link for that in the chat one more time so that if you haven't done it yet, you can. And, you know, make sure that you implement your success system. The daily success system includes your conversations, your contacts added, handwritten notes, social media management, enrichments, appointments, agreements, and closings. Like get that appointment, right? Meet him at that house. Get to see that house, go step foot in it, and then convert him to an agreement, and then let's get that property sold. So make sure you guys are doing this stuff. It's not just lip service. You have to do the work. Okay. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. It's really important that you go into every conversation from a place of contribution. How can I help? How can I help? And celebrate your success. Okay. One of the things that I talk about all the time is go for no. Going for no is a tool that you can use when you're doing your lead follow-up. You take the word no, put it in a spreadsheet, make it, 10 columns wide, 5 columns deep or whatever. Print it out on a piece of paper And every time you have a conversation with somebody, you ask them, who do you know that might be thinking about buying or selling? And they say, I don't know anybody. That's a no. You cross out the no. It's an accomplishment. You got to know. You go to the next one. I got another no. I got another no. And you know what happens when you go for 100 no's? Go ahead, Tussar. Say it. No, unmute. Go ahead. What happens when you go for 100 no's?
You get a yes.
You get a yes. Well, she answered for you, Cesar. Yes, you get it. You stumble across a yes. And then you're like, wait a second, I was going for a no. And you get a yes, and you're like, yes, I crushed it, man. I got a yes. Right? So it turns the no game into like an even more exciting yes game. But if you go for no, if you go for yes, I'm gonna make a phone call, they said no. I make a phone call, they said no. They can make a phone call, they said no. And all of a sudden you just feel so deflated. And you're just like, oh, this is no fun. I don't want to call all these people. All they're going to do is say no. Well, if you go for 100 no's, now it's a game. And you reverse the psychology for yourself. Okay? That's all I have for you guys today. And I'll take any questions that anybody has now. We have about 5 minutes left. If anybody wants to ask anything specifically, you can unmute and go ahead and ask. Otherwise, if you're done with today and you've done your eval, you have my permission to go ahead and sign off. But if you want to stay for any questions, feel free to do so. Anybody have any questions they'd like to ask?
Lana was trying to ask a message. She sent it to me directly by accident. She said, what if I did all the work and helped them and all of a sudden they got me? What should I do?
I'm not sure I understood the question.
I didn't either.
They
but-
ghost me. I'm sorry. They ghost me. Not
Oh.
got me. Sorry about that. It's typing.
Okay, can you repeat the question? No?
Boss Anita is requesting to put the QR code up again.
Which one?
I think she was referring to is it the referral? KW referral page, Anita?
This
Yeah,
one?
the Facebook referral page, boss.
There you go. There you go.
Yep.
So go ahead. You can also just go to Facebook and type KW agent to agent referral network. But there, did you get it? All right. Anybody else have any questions that they were itching, burning desires that weren't answered or want more specific follow up on? All good? All right. Wellington, you good? He's good. Max, you good? You know what to do? Gonna go get that listing? All right, go get it, man. Brian, you good?
One thing,
Perfect.
Alex, actually, so
ahead,
I
Wellington.
I wanted to ask if you had any PDFs or any resources or anything that you could share as a follow-up to this class or anything that we can review after the fact.
I don't have anything for this class. I do have other classes that I teach where I have stuff for that, but you will have to come to that class to get it.
All right, sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? No? I guess we're done. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. It was nice meeting you. And
Thank you, Alex. Thanks
keep
for your
me-
time.
yeah, man, keep me in your Rolodex. Old term there for you.
Thanks for joining, everyone.
Yeah,
You're
thanks for
welcome.
joining. And if you join our KW referral network on Facebook, Alyssa will send you an invitation through command as well to connect with me so that you can be
We did.
connected with me
Thank
there as
you.
well. Okay.
Thank you, Alex. Your class was very
Have a
informative.
great night, everyone.
I'm glad you
Bye.
feel that way. And thank you for the compliment.
Thank you.
Bye, Carol.
Oh, Pauline Murray has a question. Is it okay to put flyers in neighborhood mailboxes?
You can't put flyers in mailboxes. It's against the postal service. You have to, if you put something in a mailbox, it has to have a stamp on it. So I would recommend getting like a door hanger or rolling it and putting it like in the door, between the door and the door handle, something like that. Or better yet, knock on the door and hand it to the person directly. Yeah.